First of all, congratulations on Long Bright River. What a show. I'm still not at the end of it, but uh I believe I'm in episode 7, so I'm very close. Talk a little bit about how you came onto this show because your part is quite crucial.
Yeah, no, it was well, thank you for watching. I mean, you're really close. There's a few more twists and turns coming your way. Yeah, no, this was a really fun show to be a part of. I read for this about a year ago,
Oh,
February of 24, and yeah, I was actually in Thailand at my brother's wedding when I got this audition. So I taped for it the day of my brother's wedding in the morning. Um, and then was able to work on it for like four months,
mhm.
randomly throughout April through or March through like June, July.
Your part as a detective is quite cool. I like the fact that he seems to be really wanting to help, especially in these first episodes. How do you begin to train in order to get this part right?
It's an interesting process because it's based off a book,
Hmm.
so I did read the book, but there are differences between the book and the script. And then also when getting the script, I didn't get all the scripts at once.
Okay.
I would get basically one episode at a time, whichever one they were prepping and shooting. And so I was also figuring it out as we went on, you
Hmm.
know. So I think tone wise, I kind of know, like, I do play quite a bit of like detective, cop, law
Hmm.
enforcement. So it's like the roller coaster doesn't. When you're playing that, you try not to get too high or too
Hmm.
low. You're trying to kind of stay even killed, and also, knowing that this show, there was a bad guy, there was a serial killer,
Hmm.
and you didn't know who it was. So also trying to kind of play into that, where it's like, all right, she kind of knows who this character is, but she
Hmm.
doesn't, because she's
Definitely.
also feeling out who she can trust.
Hmm. Um, Going with that, week to week, since you're getting the script, are you just getting your part of the script, or are you able to read the entire episode?
Oh, they gave out the entire episode, which was
Ah.
nice. But I'm also learning things as I'm
Hmm.
I'm reading, about different characters and the twist and turn. So yeah, it was really fun, and to be able to read the book and see the differences in how
Hmm.
they, what they have to change for storytelling. In like in
Hmm.
the book, you can say how Mickey feels or what she's thinking. In a show like that, on a scripted show, you have to show it, or there you can't just, in a book you could be like, Mickey feels nervous.
Hmm.
In the show, she has to be able to portray that, and the audience has to be able to be able to read that. So yeah, it's interesting to see the differences.
Definitely. And you've played a couple of cops in throughout your career. Why is law enforcement something that's drawn your attention?
My dad did work in
Oh.
government, and so I don't know if that kind of played a factor, but I think it's like the demeanor that I come off with probably is a little bit
Mhm.
more serious. So it's like it's either law enforcement or it is bad guys,
Yeah,
you know, which
definitely.
which
Which,
fortunately for TV, there's a lot of both.
yes, there are. Which is your favorite part to play? Is it the villain or is it the good guy?
I think there's fun in both. It is. I do feel like I'm a pretty happy person. So kind of being able to play an asshole is fun. I mean, even a lot of the law enforcement that I play
Hmm.
tends to be somebody with a chip on their shoulder or somebody who's kind of a dick. So to me, to play that is fun. I mean, being a bad guy uh, definitely has. You definitely have to draw out some anger, which to me is like when you're playing something that you really get to kind of play it up a bit. So I do enjoy that.
Awesome. And Long Bright River has an incredible cast. What is it like to go to work every day with these incredible actors who just give it their all?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of very talented and big long resumes. Like Amanda's great. There's
Hmm.
Patch and Dash, and a lot of these people have been in the business for a long time. So, I think when you get a chance to work alongside people who are like a pro's pro, you get to, kind of pick their mind a little bit. You get to see how they work, how they approach things, and to me, it's fun when you could go in and learn. Like I played baseball most of my life, and it was always fun to play with really good players who were able to do special things on the field, because you kind of you see how they warm up, you see how they approach different things. And I feel like the same way with acting, like just watching Amanda work, you see why she's as great as she is, and how
Hmm.
she preps for things, and the different ways she approaches a scene, and gives the editor options to play with. I mean, I think that's the one of the best experiences of shooting this, is working with professionals who have been doing this for such a long time.
Definitely. And in this series in particular, there's a lot of very heavy topics that are being covered. There's a lot of themes that are very dark. Um, w- how do you prepare yourself to handle that? And is there any scene in this series that you're most proud of being a part of?
It's definitely a lot of very heavy material. It's a sad reality for a lot of people in this world, either having, drug addictions, or having
Hmm.
family members or close friends who have, fallen to that. So I think the show they've done a really good job of portraying that,
Hmm.
and showing how family members are also affected very heavily. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of touching. There's a lot of very touching scenes. I remember we had the premiere a couple weeks ago in New York, so watching it in the theater with a lot of the crew and the cast, there was a moment that I remember where Mickey looks towards her sister, after she kind of helps let her go at the
Hmm.
beginning. She's supposed to get arrested for stealing from a
Hmm.
from a store, and Mickey ends up, basically persuading her partner to let her go.
Hmm.
And at this point, we don't know their relationship. And she reveals to her partner, like, hey, that's my sister. And her sister at that time turns around, gives a little wave. And it's like, you see a polar opposite of a police officer and somebody who is getting arrested, right? But
Hmm.
in reality, they're sisters. So there's a lot in a lot of bond that they share. So I mean, I know, like, to me, when I was watching that for the first time, I was like, I could feel myself getting a little
Yeah,
emotional. That's like, it shows the human, aspect of a lot of things that I feel like if you look at it from surface level, you don't really, think about it. So it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, people who fall to drug use, police officers, and everything in between. I mean, they're all real humans with real families that deal with an array of, of different things.
definitely. Do you have any projects you have coming up that you're able to talk about?
Oh, so I just finished my second episode on Chicago Fire, which will be coming out in a few weeks, and that's another NBC show, which is,
Hmm.
I've been that show's been running for a long time, so yeah, that's a fun one. Great group of people working there. They've been doing it for 13 years, and yeah, basically, two of the characters are looking to adopt, and we
Hmm.
kind of I play an adoption agency worker, and we're kind of exploring through that world, which in a couple weeks you'll find out what happens.
Definitely. And how different is it being on a show like Long Bright River, and getting to really get into a character as opposed to, going and doing guest appearances on other different shows, especially shows that are well established, kind of like Chicago Fire is.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I was actually thinking about it the other day,
Mhm.
and being able to be on a show like Long Bright River from the start. Um, they changed the name because I'm half Thai, so they changed the name to a Thai name. Um, they, having conversations with the showrunners and producers about how to, the direction of the character was fun, because obviously, if you're on a show that's been around for 13 years, they have the ship's been running,
Hmm.
you know, and so they have their ways, and it's obviously been very successful. So when I go into a show like that, I'm playing a part in their world. So it is a different experience being able to kind of help, you know, create that world that they're working with. Because also when while they're writing, they're also still figuring things out, especially on a newer show, you know.
Definitely.
So most of the stuff that I've done has been an episode or two here or there on a show that's already been established. So this was probably one of the most creative or the best creative experiences I've had so far has been with Long Bright River.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And talking about on the actor's experience, for many actors, there's a lot of no's before you get a yes to a part that do you really want. How do you keep going? How do you keep your mental health in a good place when you're going out there, putting yourself out there, and you're not always getting the best results?
You know, this is something that I think about often. It is, I will say, entertainment is one of the probably the most challenging industries, careers in the world. There's a lot of people who want to get into an array of different positions, right? But I mean, people from all over the world want to act in movies and TV shows. Um, so I think mindset is a big thing. And I would say I played baseball growing up. Okay. So a lot of people talk about baseball. They say it's a game of failure. You
Mhm.
get 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're considered one of the best ever. Um, you know, so when it comes to acting, that's a common thing I heard before. It's a lot of no's. It's a lot of
Mhm.
no's, right? Um, I think attitude is everything. And if you have a good attitude, you're going to stay motivated. If you stay motivated, you're going to be able to keep pushing forward, right? So I try not to look at me not getting a job as a no, because
Mhm.
I try not to assume the job is mine. I try to play it out as they're looking for someone. I give it my best shot in my tape, and then after that, it's out of my control. And there's an array of many different things that can factor into it. If the actress is taller than you, that
Mhm.
might be the reason. If your size, if they have somebody who already looks like you, or I mean, there's so many different things. So it doesn't necessarily just come down to skill or talent, right?
Mhm.
So I try to look at it as it's not no's. It's just it was never mine at the beginning,
Mhm.
and you do it and you move on to the next thing. And I know it's very easy to be said. You know, I mean, it's much easier said than done. But that's something that I try to constantly remind myself. And I realize that if I have multiple things going on in my life that I'm looking forward to, it's easier to just move past, like auditioning and just forget about it. But if you're holding on, like I need this one, like
Mhm.
this one is the one, and then that's all you think about, mentally will be very draining. You know, so I think acting is there's obviously a skill to it,
Mhm.
but the mental side and understanding the business side, I feel really helps.
Definitely. And fortunately, you are able to keep busy with so many roles that you've been playing. Congratulations on Long Bright River. You did a fantastic job. You really made this character somebody you root for during the series.
Yeah.
So congratulations once again, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.